Tim Patrick was not a guy I was high on when we signed him. Actually, I made a video talking about how we signed a player coming off of a consecutive season-ending injuries. And now I guess with Hutch being in that category, coming off one, kind of sucks, but that's kind of the same thing. And I think my PTSD with Brad Holmes and his knack for signing injured players that they don't always turn into a Tim Patrick, it was haunting me. You've got the Emmanuel Mosleys, you've got the Marcus Davenport, which may or may not have been his fault, but Brad doesn't have the best track record signing an injured player from the previous year. But Tim Patrick has come alive and solidly claimed the wide receiver number 3 spot. So I like what I see from Tim Patrick. I didn't think I was going to like the guy so much. I really didn't, especially just knowing what he was coming from. But like any player in the National Football League, especially one of his caliber, if you can stay healthy, that's the thing. If he can stay healthy, if this guy can stay healthy, we knew what he could do. I mean, Javid Best, if he could have stayed healthy, Kerryon Johnson, if he could have stayed healthy. So if was a fifth, you know what they say. And that's my concern when you bring in injured players. But as of 5 games in, Tim Patrick is doing his thing for the Detroit Lions, and not only that, he is proving the point that I was making about having a wide receiver 3. Now, he is much more of an X to me than Josh Reynolds was. Josh Reynolds was a hybrid. You could kind of put him anywhere. Tim Patrick is that guy that he can stretch the field. He's kind of like that, not the speed of DJ Chark, but the size of DJ Chark and the ability to stretch the field. I will say that I think Tim Patrick can stretch the field more than Josh Reynolds can. I know you guys are probably surprised with that, but check this out. This is a stat. Listen, my emotion, my logic, my analysis is usually based off of statistics with a whole bunch of emotion in there as it's delivered. But most of the time, it is statistically based. All right. It is based in reality, the reality of statistics. I know y'all hate it, but that's really what it's based on. Let me tell you what I mean. All right. So the Detroit Lions their offense was stagnant the first couple of games. Dan Campbell said literally after the bye week, he expects this team to warm up. And that's kind of exactly what happened. It took us 4 weeks, essentially an entire preseason, because there's only 3 preseason games now, to get warmed up. Well, what about how? Go figure, right? So then after that, but not only was it the preseason for the offense, it was also, we got that 3rd wide receiver. Here's what I mean. Looking at Tim Patrick's stats, his time in Detroit, all right? He played in 4 games, okay? He's been on the active roster for 2 of those games. Game 1 had 2 receptions. Game 2 had 1 reception, 12 yards, 8 yards. But when he officially when we start treating him like a wide receiver 3, is when our offense came alive. Look at this. 16 points in game 2. In game 3, 20 points. The moment that now the receptions are not that big of a deal, that big difference. But look at the look at the average and yards total. 52, 68, 26 average, 22 average. All right. This is when the offense started to come alive, when we had a legit number 3 wide receiver. Now you might be like, okay, Derek, is that entirely true? I don't know if I believe you. Well, let me show you. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to take you back to the week 4 matchup when our offense had its best outing. Now, keep in mind, up until this point, the Lions scored 26, right, against the LA Rams. We scored 16 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we scored 20 against the Arizona Cardinals. All right, watch this. Let's go down. Let's go down to receiving. In the first game that we scored over 40 points, so we scored almost double, well, a little under double, maybe a half more, okay, 16 points more than we scored in the previous game. Look who our number 3 wide receiver is. Now, Sam Laporta had a decent day that day, but the point is that Tim Patrick is in the 3rd wide receiver spot, meaning he is top 3 in receiving yards. St. Brown is just under him with 4, okay? Now, that was the first 40-point game. What about last night? Let's go down to Detroit Lions receiving. Well. What do we have here? Tim Patrick. Number 3, St. Brown is actually under Sam Laporta and Tim Patrick. So he's 5th on this list. So we fully expected it to be Jamison Williams, number 2, Amon-Ra St. Brown, number 1, and I'm sure we were looking at Tim Patrick as number 3 at best. Jamison Williams, what a year he's having. Every time he touches the ball, I mean, this dude is a threat. But the 2 games that we've scored over 42 points, 2 things have happened with Tim Patrick. He's had over 50 yards receiving, and he was at least in the top 3 wide receivers. And I think both times he was the 3rd wide receiver. That is what we were missing. Now, I'm not saying that Dan Campbell was, it wasn't the preseason. All of that stuff does matter. It was the preseason for the offense. He said that it was probably we were going to start rolling after the bye, and we did a little bit before that. But it's not a coincidence that coincidences are very rare. Okay, look up the word coincidence. It's a rare occurrence. It's not a coincidence that the moment Tim Patrick comes on and we start utilizing him as that 3rd wide receiver, the offense begins to explode. And if you look at those first 3 games, there is a difference in the way the ball is being spread around, even in the middle of the field. I think that's what we were missing. Now, I didn't expect in both situations of Tim Patrick's receptions, he has more yards than Amon-Ra St. Brown in both instances. Against the Seattle Seahawks, he had more with 52 yards. Amon-Ra had 45. And yesterday against the Dallas Cowboys, he had 68. Amon-Ra had 37. So in both cases, Tim Patrick has had more yards than Amon-Ra St. Brown. Now, I'm not saying that's not the caveat or the mainstay. That's the caveat. That's the anomaly, right? St. Brown he's going to be between 1 and 4. The way J-Mo playing, J-Mo like, yo, I'm trying to get paid. I'm coming for your spot. So shout out to J-Mo. But that is what we were missing. We were missing that. I'm telling you, man, I kept talking about the Josh Reynolds role. Y'all think I had this fascination with Josh Reynolds. It wasn't that. It was I knew what kind of production we were missing, and I knew what an asset, that middle of the field target. And I think, like I said to start this video, that Tim Patrick could be a greater threat than Josh Reynolds. Yes, I said it. He's bigger. He looks like he's faster. And again, he was coming. He was doing his thing before he got hurt. So I'm glad I was wrong about this one. You know what I'm saying? And of course, he still got to stay hurt. He's still, look, you can tell what's on my mind. Just players get hurt. He got to stay healthy. And if he does that, we know what he can be. We really do. You know what I would like to see? I wanted to see Allen Robinson. I know he was put in there yesterday. As a matter of fact, let's see. Let's say, did he have any catches yesterday? I know he was in there receiving, but I kept calling. Once we got to a blowout, yeah, he was in there. He had no receptions and no yards. Did he have any targets? He had 1 target. So I would like to see him get involved too. I mean, obviously, we're not going to replace Tim Patrick with him, but I'm glad I was wrong about this one. I'm glad he's able to stay healthy, but I was wrong. Well, was I wrong? Was I wrong? I'm sure y'all going to say I was wrong. I didn't like the signing per se. I was wrong about, I guess, the signing. It's hard for me to trust a guy who is coming off like Emmanuel Mosley. I'm going to say the same thing when he come back. Like the dude is, what is that? 3 years in a row? 3 years in a row. That's tough for me to have faith in a guy like that. But I guess I was right about the whole, so I'll take the L. I'll take the L on that one. I'll let y'all have his victory over Lions Syndicate here. So Tim Patrick, man, way to do your thing. You look good in the blue. Spectacular catch yesterday. We're going to talk about that on the Lions Syndicate Film Room. Make sure you guys subscribe to that channel. We are over 550 subscribers, man. 550. So anyway, y'all know what's up. Not going to plug anything today. I'm just not in the mood, but we'll get back on the grind this week. You guys are awesome. You could be anywhere else on YouTube. This channel is brought to you by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you, but you choose to rock with me. I just jumped with that whole thing up, but I spit it though. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. I will take the L on Timmy P as long as we get the W. That's all I care about.